Sri Gurubhyo Namaha, children. I hope you are all hale and healthy, children. How are you? I hope you all in a good health. Yeah. So it is for class 9th standard children. You're having a memory poem and you're memorizing. And today again we are going to see one more memory poem. Okay. Before going to the poem, I want to ask you some questions. Okay, children. Have you seen river? Yeah, here, yes. But nowadays how the river and all, it is just, yeah, as you say that you feel that it is dry and it is not as fresh and flowing. Only on the rainy season sometimes we will be having. Even now some places we are talking about the flood. Now you know what is the flood? An overflow of a river is called as flood. More water is just flowing, then we call it as flood. Okay, so river. Now how many of you will be happy to play in the rain and water? Sometimes even kids I used to notice, and you also will be seeing, they will be running and just putting their hands and they will be just wavering and pushing, splashing and jumping in the water, and they flash the water on others and they'll do all things, isn't it? Yeah. You also will be loving when rain is falling, you'll be just want to wet yourself. Or if you go to a beach or a river or any ocean place, you'll be just going and wetting yourself and playing in that, and there will be a nice thing, isn't it? So I think you understand what the thing we are going to see. It's a poem called River. So today we are going to see a poem, The River. Okay, children, we'll see what it is. Okay. Yeah. The River is a poem written by Caroline Anna Balls. So Caroline Anna Balls written a poem called The River. She enjoyed the river and she was just telling something about the river, how she feels, and that we are going to see today in this poem. Yeah. First we'll see about the author, the poet. Caroline Anna Balls from 1786 to 1854 was an English poet and the wife of Robert Southey. So Caroline Anna Balls from 1786 to 1854 was an English poet and the wife of Robert Southey. So Robert Southey, and the poet of Britain. He was a poet of Britain. She was a poet of great merit and produced some of the best work at the threshold of Victorian era. So era means period. In the Victorian period, you know that Shakespearean period and 20th century, like that you will be having a different period. And she belongs to the Victorian era. That means the period of Victorian writers. She wrote various other works including The Little Lady Bird. So the other works of her is The Little Lady Bird. So Little Lady Bird, Chapter on Churchyard. So a chapter on the churchyard. And Tales of the Factories. And Tales of the Factories, as if the factory is telling the tales that she had wrote as a thing. So these were some of her works. And you know she was born in 1786 and died in 1854 and was an English poet, and she married Robert Southey, and he is also belonged to Britain and is a poet of the Britain. And she belongs to the Victorian era, and she wrote various other poems. You know what are the various poems? Little Lady Bird and Chapter on Churchyard. So on the churchyard you will be having a chapter, you will be having a lesson on that churchyard. So that, and the Tales of the Factories. It is clear, children, to you? Okay, we'll move to the next. Okay, so this is the poem. Yeah, River. The River by Caroline. Okay, so we will see what it is. River, river, little river. So see now you can see how the water is flowing from the mountain, and the picture you can see, and how it just goes, and how it does, and what all the work it does, and how it is so enjoying. So the poet writes a very simple poem it is. Okay, let me try to sing. River, river, little river, bright you sparkle. River, river, little river, bright you sparkle on your way. Over the yellow pebbles dancing, through the flowers and foliage, glancing like a child at play. River, river, swelling river, on your rush through rough and smooth, louder, faster, brawling, leaping, over rocks by rose banks, sipping like impetuous youth. River, river, brimming river, broad and deep and still as time, seeming still yet still in motion, tending onward to the ocean, just like mortal prime. River, river, brimming river, broad and deep and still as time, smelling still yet still in motion, tending onwards to the ocean, just like a mortal prime. River, river, headlong river, down you dash into the sea. See that line hath never sounded, see that shale hath never rounded, like a eternity. Okay children, you understand the song, you enjoy it. You also put some tune and you start making it as a song, okay, not as a poem. So it is a very small poem with the 4 stanzas. You can sing by yourself and memorize it. It's a memory poem. Shall we go for the poem? Yeah. Okay. River, river, little river, bright you sparkle on your way, over the yellow pebbles dancing through the flowers and foliage, glancing like a child at play. So here he is singing that river, river. So river, river, you're a little river. You know that a river will be just, it starts its way and it will be just going and going and going and going, and at last it will end in the ocean. So simple poem. The river just, it starts, it's starting and it goes and goes and goes, and what at last it joins the ocean. So that is a simple message from the poem, and how it joins and how it is so beautiful like that the poet makes it. You know that it is all a poetic mind. The same river if we saw, we'll say, ah, river, that's it, nothing more than that. But if the poetic mind if you have, you will be just making it as a, oh, what a lovely river it is, what a large river it is, what a small river it is, with a rhyming scheme and with all the poetic device, you will be just making it as a poem, isn't it? So here you can enjoy the poem, very simple. See, you have only 5 lines. River, river, little river. So river, river, little river. You are a small river. You are a small one. Bright. You are so bright. And you are sparkling on your way. So you are bright and sparkling on your way. So you try to understand the poem that bright you sparkle on your way. That means the thing is bright. You know that when you go to a pond or a lake, you will be finding a dirty water, a pool. If you go, you will be finding a dirty water and you can't see the clear crystal of the water. But river water is not like that. Even in the ocean, it will be blue color and you will be seeing some dirts and all. But river water is not like that, because it is flowing and it is so bright and there is sparkle on your way. So when it is flowing and going, it gives a sparkle, glittering shine in the river, because it is so pure water, and when sunlight just falls on it, it will be just giving a sparkle to your eyes. So that only is saying, river, river, little river, bright you sparkle on your way. So river, river, little river, bright you sparkle on your way. Over the yellow pebbles dancing, you know that where you can find a pebble. Now why pebbles are in the river, you know that a small rock which is on the mountain. When the water falls from the mountain, it takes a big rock and all the way it is rotating and rotating and rotating, and at last some place it will be a sparkling one, like a shape it will be getting, and it all sharp sides all will be blended and it will be so smooth. Now you seen a pebble, you will be seeing in aquarium when you are having in your home as aquarium where the fishes and all is just swimming, and there in that you will be just having a pebble. You will be seeing how it got its shape. How it got shape, you know, the children, it is by nature. How it got it is just rolling. First it will be a shark, some piece will be just broken when water is flowing, and when water starts flowing, that sharp size and all, when it is each time rotating and coming, it will be blunt and it will be having a smoothness. Okay, I think you understand this. River, river, little river, bright you sparkle on your way. So bright you sparkle, you are so bright and you are sparkle on your way, you are sparkling. So because it is a pure water, when sunlight falls on it, it will be just glittering, and that glitter tells you that it is just giving you the smoothness, and the water is also pure. So when sunlight falls on it is giving some glittering thing, shining thing. So that is bright and you sparkle on your way when you are moving. River will be moving water, it will not be a stagnant water. So river will be moving. When it is moving, bright you sparkle on your way, you are so bright and the sparkle because the sunlight falls on it and it gives a glitter, and that glitter is sparkle when it is moving on its way. So on your way, over the yellow pebbles dancing. So how the yellow pebbles in the river, you know, it is just dancing. No, how the water movement is giving, like that the pebbles also rotating, rolling and just going there with the water. So how when the water is going very slow and steady, the pebbles will be slow and steady, and if it is move, it is also move fast. So there was a movement in the water, so there is a movement in the pebbles. So that had been seen by the poet, and the poetess is just telling you over the yellow pebbles dancing. So many colors will be, no, in the rocks it is yellow pebbles. She's found in that river is yellow pebbles. Yellow pebbles dancing through the flowers and foliage. Through the falls and flowers and foliage. There was, you know that when a river is moving, on both the side there will be a plants, and both the side flowers will be there. Sometimes when the water movement, sometimes sudden fastness is there, that water will be just falling on the flowers and it will be falling on the foliage. Okay, glancing, it is glancing, looking. So through the flowers and foliage, glancing like a child at play. You see in a play, a child playing, it will be moving this side, it will be moving that side. No child, we can't, when a small child is just given to you, take care, like that if it is said, you will not able to see that or look after the child, because the child will be moving either side, or you will not come to a judgment and you can't predict which side the baby will go. You will be waiting on one side, the child will be moving on the other side. So interestly it will be doing something and it will be moving. Like that river movement also was like that. It was compared to the like a child at play. So river's movement is compared to the child play. And where it is flowing through the flowers. So there was flowers and all on the both the sides the plant will be having, and it will be having small plants on the flowers, through the flowers and foliage. So on the foliage nearby also it is just falling when it is moving, and glancing and looking at each and everything. Now when a small kid is going from, you can see in KG class or at home, they will be peeping through. They will not know who, what and all, but they will be peep through what is happening there, what is happening here. So like that the river also, like a child, it is moving. So it is very clear, children, you understand the poem. River, river, little river, bright to sparkle on your way, over the yellow pebbles dancing, through the flowers and foliage, glancing like a child at play. So it is very clear, children, you understood, I believe. Okay. So river, river, little river, bright your sparkle on your way, over the yellow pebbles dancing, through the flowers and foliage. The movement is just going through. The river is going through the flowers and foliage, glancing at each and everything what is happening on the way, like a child, how a child at the play, it will be looking each and everything. So like that the river is doing it. So I believe you understood this, children. Shall we move to the next? Okay, next stanza. River, river, swelling river, on your rush through a rough and smooth, louder, faster, brawling leap over rough rocks by rose banks, sweeping like impetuous youth. So in the first stanza we found that river is moving with a smooth movement, with the pebbles just dancing there, and it is just touching a flower and touching on the foliage and glancing at like a child. So first stanza, the river is compared to a child. How the child at play will be, like that the first stanza is compared. It is clear to you. So now we are going to see second stanza. The second stanza tells you, river, river, swelling river, on your rush through rough and smooth, the louder, faster, brawling, leaping over rocks by rose banks, sweeping like an impetuous youth. Now here in the second stanza, the poet compares the river to the impetuous youth. So it compared to the impetuous youth. It is clear, children? Here, river, river, swelling river, on your rush through a rough and smooth. How it is going? You know that youth, how will they'll not be having a knowledge. They'll be having knowledge, but they'll be in a fast of their young age. They'll be always fast, and they'll be doing very rush and rough and like that. They will not be smooth like how babies are. So when you are grown up, your attitude and your behavior, or a young youth mind will be different, and they will be fast and brisk, and they will be of their age. They will not think also. Clear, children? And children also will not think, but youth, they will be have a little maturity, but they will be always fast in their movement. They will be always brisk in their movement. So here how they are, river, river, swelling river. So there what you saw in the first stanza, river, river, little river. So it is a little river in the first stanza, but here in the second stanza it is swelling river. How it is? Swelling river. River, river, swelling. Swelling means what? Swelling means sometimes when it is small, it is the wound or something you will get a big thing. The same small river, there is overflow of water. What happens? It is, see, when you go, you get hurt yourself. You will be getting a swelling in your hand or leg or whatever the part. The same way, when more water is pouring because of heavy rain, the water will be swelling. It will be just overflowing. That had been the poet saying that swelling river. So it, in the first stanza we saw it is a little river, and it is compared to a little child play. So how a little child plays, it is like that it was said. And here it is like a youth, so the water is overflowing, and it was called as swelling river. So it is called as a swelling river. Okay, river, river, swelling river, on your rush through rough. So you are rushing, you are through the rough and smooth. You are just moving rough place and also smooth place. Both the place you are moving. And how you are? In this stage, how he is, the water is, it is swelling, it is more. So you know that when you hear flood sound like that, oh, like that, a sound will be heard when it is flowing. But when it is going very smooth, it will be just ooh, like that, a smooth, small sound will be there. But it is overflowing, it will sound will be gushing like anything. You will be getting like a oh, like that, and sound will be heard when it is overflowing. So here also, river, river, it is a swelling river because it is overflowing, it is a swelling river. On your rush through rough and smooth, because it is very fast in the movement, and it is going rough and rush and smooth. So whether the place is smooth or rough, it will be just going away, just flowing away. How it will be flowing? Louder, it will be in a louder and in a faster. Louder and in a faster, louder and faster, rough and smooth, louder, faster, brawling leap. It is just going like anything. It is brawling leap. So it is taking like a leap. When you are going very fast, just pushing everything and anything, so that is called a leap. So it is just going like a brawling, leaping, brawling and leaping. So louder, faster, brawling and leaping. This is all the movement of the river. So it is making a sound louder and faster and brawling. It is just going, pushing anything and just moving and leaping. Leaping also just jumping and moving like that. Now when if somebody is pushed, what will happen? You'll have to do what? Brawling and leaping and all you'll do. So like that the flow of water is more, and that's why it is swelling river it is called. So the movement of the river is very fast and just moving like that, anything, brawling and leaping. Okay, louder, faster, brawling, leaping over rocks, by rows, banks, sweeping. So over rocks, by rows, banks, sweeping. So what happens here? Over rocks, it's flowing like on over rocks, it just jumps over the rock when it is moving, and by rose banks it is going to the rose banks and spoiling that, and sweeping means just taking away all the rose plant, rose what all is available, because the movement is very fast. So it is not admiring here, it is just taking away all the flow or the sweeping. Or sweeping means you'll be sweeping the room, all the dirty things, but here even the rose plants were there, and it had been taken by the movements of the river. Like impetuous youth. So when a youth is not able to control how they will be, like that the river is just flowing away. First stanza we saw that the river is like a childhood, and it is little and it is overflowing with the floor. It is just flowing on a floor, and it is flowing on a foliage. But here what happens? It is sweeping over the rose bank. It takes the rose bank itself sweeping over, and like an impetuous youth. So in this stanza the poet compares in the second stanza the river to a impetuous youth. It is clear, children? Shall we move to the third stanza? Okay. In the third stanza, river, brimming river, broad and deep and still as time, swimming still, yet still in motion, tending onwards to the ocean, just like a mortal prime. When a river starts at one place, it will be going and joining, moving and moving and moving. It will be having when the water flow is very less, then it will be moving very slowly, and water flow is more, it will be moving with like a young impetuous youth. And here in the third stanza, just like a mortal prime. How it is a mortal prime? Mortal and immortal. What do you mean by mortal prime? It is like a mortal prime. You are just moving and moving and moving. At last you are marteling, you are going and mixing in the ocean. So that is the thing. River, brimming river. So how the river is? The river is brimming. The river is brimming. Now what is brimming? The river is brimming. Here brimming means overflowing. That is, brimming. Now suppose if you have a sack or a bag, you will be just having it up to the neck if you are eating, then we will say that. Or if we will say that it is just coming out of that. It will be having a border. River will be having a border. It is coming out of it because overflow was there. So it was out of the place. And here brimming up to the neck or up to the back which is full. So here it is just overflowing. So here river, brimming river, broad and deep. How you are? You are broad, very broad, and you are deep and still as time, swimming still. So how you are? Swimming still, yet still in motion, So here river, brimming river, you are overflowing, and broad, you have become now very broad, so big you have become, and you are so deep and still as time. Children, you will be heard something, some places children were playing, all of a sudden they are mixed, because when the overflow was very slow, they would have started swimming and playing in it. All of a sudden what will happen? There will be overflow of water. Because of that, it will be just sweeping them to the place where it is going, and at last it will be leaving, or sometimes it will be taking along with it. So it's clear, children, the movement of the river, you are understanding? Okay, in the third stanza it is said that river, brimming river, broad and deep and still as time. So broad, you are so broad, and it is deep, you are so deep, and still as a time, you have a time, swimming still, yet still in motion. So you are seeming you were still in motion, tending onwards to the ocean. So you are having a motion, where you are having a motion till the ocean. When the ocean comes, you are having you have a movement. Till then you are just flowing, or you are just moving or running or whatever it is. So tending onwards to the ocean, where you are tending, where you are going, your movement is where? Your movement is still to the ocean. just like a mortal prime. So you're like a mortal prime. So anyway, how big or big shots are there? If you're born, you'll be having a death. So mortal means death, immortal means you will not die. So as a great personality, one is dying like that, you are going to die in the ocean. You will be end yourself in the, as a prime, as a big thing, you go and join there and you will be ending your life. Anymore you will not call as a river, you will be called as a ocean. So here the poet clearly tells in the third stanza, river, river, brimming river, broad and deep and still as time, swimming till yet still in motion. Motion means moving and tending onwards to the ocean. Tending means moving fast towards the ocean. Tending towards the ocean and just like a mortal prime. So even a great personality was born, he will be dying one day. So it is a mortal life of a human being. So like that the river also has an ending. It will be go and join in the ocean. Afterwards it will not be called as a river. It will be called as a ocean. So till this it is clear, children? Okay. Okay. River, river, headlong river. So river, you can see how long it is flowing. I have shown you that still it goes and reaches in the ocean. You just take how long it is just moving. So it has its own movement. River, river, headlong river, down you dash into the sea. See that line hath never sounded. See that sail hath never rounded like eternity. So here like eternity means river, river, headlong river. Headlong means you are so long, a lengthy river and you are just moving. Down you dash into the sea. You go and dash into the sea and see that line hath never sounded. Then anymore no sound of you. Only the ocean sound will be here. Till that your sound will be there. And once you dashed into the sea, your sound will not be there. See that line hath never sounded. After that the line will not get a sound. See that sail hath never rounded, and it is also not rounded. And like eternity, so there is no stop for your movement. You will be just starting and moving and moving and moving and moving and going till where the sea is there, and you will have a path till then, and at last you will go and end in a sea. So at last you will be end in a sea, in a ocean, and like a eternity. So like a eternity. So eternity is a thing that you will be having. Eternity means you will be having a life being given pure like that. So you will be having your end as a pure. Okay, it is clear to you. And see, glossaries have given foliage means cluster of leaves, flowers, sand and branches. Glancing means touching or eating something light from the side without causing much damage. In the first stanza, the thing is touching and going and it doesn't give any damage at all. Swelling means becoming greater intensity of volume. That means it's becoming very big. Rose banks means river banks where roses all grown, and you'll be taking all the flowers and the plants. Impetuous means acting quickly and without thought of care. So impetuous young means you see in a small calf how it will be just jumping and running and moving like that. A youth also will be doing without care for others. Tending means going in a particular way. Headlong means with the head first and the rest of the body following. So you will have a head first and then. Hath means in the past, the third person singular from the word have. Eternity means life continuing without end after death. So you are having continuing the life after death. So as a river you stop there, and you are river water are being joined in the ocean, and you have a life continuing in your thing. So it is very clear, children. See, poetic device we'll see. So we are going to learn a few new things. Anaphora is a repetition of certain words or phrases at the beginning of the successive lines of writing or speech. See that line hath never sounded, see that sail hath never rounded. So that is anaphora. So it is clear to you, anaphora is a repetition of certain words or phrase at the beginning of the successive lines of a writing of the speech. So for example, river, 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 that is also an anaphora. So it is started and in the every stanzas you are getting, so we can call as repetition. Here it is, see that line hath never sounded, see that sail hath never rounded, it is anaphora. And then epithet is an adjective or a phrase expressing a quality or attribute regards as a characteristics of the person or the thing mentioned. So for example, little river, so that is a river and it is a little river he is saying. So here it is an adjective. River is a noun and it is an adjective. Little river it is compared, so it is an epithet. Epithet means is an adjective or a phrase which gives before a noun and gives an expressive word to the poet. So imagery, you know, is a name given to the elements in a poem that sparks and senses. It needs not to be only visual, it can be related to any of the 5 senses: sight, hearing, touch, taste, smell. So here yellow pebbles means when yellow pebbles, that word is given itself, you can get the yellow color pebble in your mind. And a little river, it is epithet. So it is clear, children, you understood the thing. Okay, before going that, we will see the rhyming scheme and other thing, and we will end the poem. We will see what are the other alliteration and other things are there. Okay, so you can say what is there in this. Okay, river, river, little river, river, dancing, foliage, play, glancing. So here we will be having this word dancing and glancing. River, way, way and play. So you are having play and way and river. So A, B, B, C and C. So the rhyming scheme of this stanza is A, B, C, C, B. A, B, C, C, B. Okay, it's clear to you children. And river, river, river. So here it is alliteration here in this line. Okay, bright you sparkle your way. So here your you. And yellow pebbles dancing and through the flowers and foliage. So that is alliteration. Okay children? And at. Okay, so these were the things in the first stanza. And second stanza, river, river, swelling river, same again. And here on the gush, river, smooth, sweeping, leaping, youth. Smooth and youth. Smooth, smooth and youth. Leaping and sweeping. So here you have, and this is, so A, B, B, C, C. So here each stanza has different rhyming scheme. And you know, as usual, you will be having rush and rough is your alliteration, and louder, faster, broad, leaping. So here leaping and louder, and rock and rose. So these all your alliterations. This also you can find the same. A, river, A, time, ocean, motion, ocean, time and prime. So A, B, C, C, B, here you are getting, and your river, time, motion, ocean and B, and here you can get the thing broad, deep, as a time, no, and then as you are having, then still, seeming, all the three or alliteration, tending the to. So you are having this all as alliterations. In this stanza, river, river, headlong, again A, again here A, C, B, sounded and ended, and eternity it is separate, rounded and eternity, river, sea and like eternity. So here you are having no word rhyming, so you can give for D. So A, B, C, C, D. So you are getting like this, and here you can have tone and dash as alliterations, then C sound, C sail. So these are the alliterations. So it is very clear children, you understand the poem, very simple poem. First stanza, the poet compares the first stanza with a little child play, and second stanza impetuous youth, and third it is act as a mortal thing which is And in the fourth, like eternity. Eternity means there is no ending for the life. It is not dead. It is continuous life in sea. So that had been explained in this poem. A small poem. It is a memorous poem, children. You put a tune and sing yourself. I believe you enjoyed and love this poem. Okay, children. We'll end up the class and we'll meet you in the next class, children. Until then, thank you. Until then, thank you, children.